Lordo, there was dysfunction, there was mayhem, and there was a hero created, and maybe a legend began yesterday at Marvel Stadium. I want you to take us through and pull apart these frantic final moments at Marvel Stadium, St Kilda playing Melbourne, and how it unfolded in the final 8 seconds.
It was absolutely chaotic for Melbourne, and you can see the confusion starting with their bench coach, Mark Williams. So they've got 7 forwards and only 3 midfielders. So they've got it wrong with their bench rotation. You can see Jack Viney and this Melbourne forward saying, hey, you should be in the midfield. And they're trying to work out who should be. And you've got Max Gawn, Petrarca, Pickett and another player. They've all got their hands up saying, who should be the one in the centre bounce? How have we got all this wrong? Well, St Kilda at the same time are working out, how can we play this last 8 seconds out? So it's all confusion for Melbourne, which their whole last quarter had been panic, whereas St Kilda, through Wanganeen Miller, is looking to construct this last play. So as we let this keep going, you can see they're frustrated with each other. This period here is the 6-6-6. The umpire said, you all need to get back into your spots.
To reset, to allow St Kilda to take the free kick.
Rowan's just found out there's 8 seconds left. And Nasiah's saying, forwards, I need you all to open up a side for me. So you can see the forwards start to get across to open up this channel for Nasiah Wanganeen Miller. You can see Viney, he's still demanding what's going on here. At the same time, he's telling Caminiti, Viney's wingman matchup.
Petrarca should be looking at Miller here.
Yeah, so he's forced out the wingman, Caminiti, to give him that space while he told the forwards to go there. At the same time, Gawn's still worrying about who should be in the centre bounce. So as this unfolds, the masterclass begins. They need to be tracking Wanganeen Miller's run. Bowie should be eating him up. Viney should be here on the edge of the square eating him up. And then they've waited the kick inside. So absolute debacle by Melbourne, confusion. And through the clear head of Marshall and Wanganeen Miller, outstanding.
And as you've pulled that apart, they actually had a second option on that mark with Caminiti, the way he positioned himself. So it wasn't just the isolated Wanganeen Miller.
You're spot on. I think if Wanganeen Miller wasn't there and he didn't like that one, he could have popped it longer out to Caminiti as well. So what Viney's role in that was absolutely bizarre.
And then the composure to kick the goal, having already just kicked one. It began the quarter, Lauder, for them, the last quarter, with a 46-point deficit. And that was the largest in AFL history. And they just burnt the Demons early. And again, Nasiah Wanganeen Miller was the key to it.
Well, when you're down, Damo, Rossi Lyon, I'm sure, would have just said, we just have to take risks. We just got to take risks. And with Melbourne, you have to... it was a domination through St Kilda at the clearance, so they got back on top in the clearance, took risks. Even this from Tom McDonald, he wasn't awake on the mark, so Sharman plays on. Wanganeen Miller played one of the all-time great games. He had 34 disposals, he kicked 4 goals, 1. He laces out, so they lost their structure in the centre bounce. They missed a lot of shots, which we're going to see shortly.
Take us through this mark.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Just sit on the shoulders, 2v1, Fritchard dropped back.
And McVie didn't have an answer for him. And then to then have this composure, this level-headedness for a 22-year-old to control those 8 seconds in a way that we only see the greats do, Lotto. It's a legendary moment, that last minute by him personally, that last quarter in totality. But the fact that it's a legendary moment, Lotto, is it actually the birth of a legend? And I don't want to say that too lightly, because this guy's season already has been pretty special, and he's got a massive decision to make about where he plays his football beyond this year.
Yeah, 2 clutch goals in that last 10, 15 seconds, huge. I want to ask you, does it help St Kilda win like that and something so monumental for him to stay at the club?
It can't hurt, can it? I mean, we're speculating, but everyone is around this situation because only Nasiah Wanganeen Miller knows. He's the only person who knows what decision he's going to make. But the buoyancy and the joy that moment produced with Rowan Marshall, the way they coordinated those final minutes, it can only be a positive for St Kilda, I would think.
Yeah, and I hope he stays. I think there's nothing better. He's the key to St Kilda. He's their best player. You see the way the fans love him and his teammates do as well.
So this, in a historical context, Lord, it just goes to show what Melbourne coughed up yesterday and conceded. And it comes on the back of a really, really bad season. They've lost 7 of their past 8, having lost the first 5 matches to start the season after an off-season of narrative that included the words love and connection. They are a dysfunctional football club. They were dysfunctional in that last quarter, and the coach, Simon Goodwin, last night was speaking words that really meant nothing.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that, but clearly we didn't get that right. You know, it was... It's a pretty simple process to get 6-6-6 done. You need to communicate and get organised, and we didn't get that done. As I said, that's on us to get that done the right way. We'll have a look at it, how it played out, why it played out, but it shouldn't happen. And as I said, we'll own that together. I think we had 7 forwards and we had 2 wingers, so as I said, it's a pretty simple process to get right. We'll have a look at why it happened, how it happened, and make sure that never happens again.
Well, I feel in 2025 that they have been a broken football club, and I think last night now proves that. And just to go back over what happened there in that final moment, that where the problem was caused with those 7 players in their own forward line.
Yeah, so that's where it was just a panicked last quarter, Damo, and that pretty much finished it off, where they just didn't even have their rotations right or their communication right. And the disappointing part is it's not as if they had a team of kids. It's not as if it's Richmond out there where you go, okay, they were young, or a Bombers team at the moment where they're young. This was Max Gawn in the middle. This was Viney on the wing. This is Christian Petrarca there. There's Clayton Oliver. There's Bowie, who's played a lot of footy off the back. So there's experience everywhere. So how this has happened, plus a coach standing on the bench. You got Mark Williams standing with him on the bench. So they were all watching this, and couldn't stop it.
Yep. The dysfunction to which I refer, Lotto, it played out in that last quarter. Senior players who have not got a good track record when it comes to kicking goals missed them again. We can see moments that were failed to be taken the most of, and that was Viney there. Now, Oliver misses that set shot. It goes close, I get that, but he doesn't kick those goals. Now, Melksham normally does kick them, but all they needed was one of these goals to go through. It was never going through. And then this one here again from Oliver, it's an okay kick. Petty nearly takes the mark. You can see the time on the clock. They just need this ball to go over the line. Now, what is Oliver doing there, handballing that in the first place? And then what is he doing with this failure to at least hit the scoreboard, Lotto? And not only that, he gives possession back with an out on the full.
Yeah, it's just why it's so disappointing is their first 3 quarters were as good a first 3 quarters they've played all year. So to capitulate like that is just devastating.
Yep, and still yet to have a CEO who's in the chair, and also a chairman who is yet to be active. And this club now with Simon Goodwin, since the 2021 grand final, has not operated properly.
Yeah, I use the word stale. I feel it's a stale club. A lot of players that are out there who have been wonderful players in the past who are nowhere near it. You sometimes even look at their body language, doesn't look great. I speak of Oliver, I speak of Petrarca, I speak of Gawn and Viney. So all their players have been great stalwarts. I feel like change needs to come and they need to make some big calls.
I think we'll see it this year after thinking of doing it last year and then balking at it.